Now here I've gone through and purposely rotated this over some. That way I can get a little bit closer. To the very end. If I go in here and back this out, you can see you got a lot of squeaking going on here without any not even making a cut. So you may wonder, what's that? Is that because of the live center? Could tighten up the live center a little bit. Can kind of feel got it just tight enough that's going to go through and support this. Might not be too tight. It's kind of a compromise. Now it's not squeaking, so I probably had the live center a little bit loose. That probably is why I got some weird cutting action. Live and learn. Another thing on something like this is if you take a heavy cut, that aluminum will expand, increase the preload on the bearing, so you've got kind of a screwy situation. Not really machining very well here. Take a deeper cut and just see what it looks like. That's machining real well through there. Now I'm going to go into this corner here. That's kind of dangerous because it may break the bit off. Unclutch this. Just play around here by hand. You can move this in here by hand. So I can turn real fast, just like this. You can just buzz off something like mad if you want to. Horrible looking though. See, that's just completely rough as heck. And back this off. So if you go ahead and use the, look at all the turnings I've got on here. If you go ahead and use the machine advance, it's going to go ahead and move this fairly slow and everything. If I go here, this kind of drives me crazy to start on this thing. What I just did, put my hand up there, is kind of dangerous because you can cut the hell out of your hand on a piece of, just got it to cut. I'm going to go ahead and look at this about, it's on 4th thou. Turned it down, it just grabbed. Now, until you get a continuous cutting around, it's going to have a kind of a jerk to it. I'm kind of cutting pretty slow. I'm going to go through here and pull this back and turn it off. Now that's extremely a nice finish on there. You see where I just bastardized this and ran it fast by hand. It's just horrible. But sometimes that's the easiest way to do if you just want to quickly buzz off something. I'm going to go ahead and try to just clean this edge up just for kicks. I'm going to come over here, start the machine. You can tell this thing is frustrating. I'm going to come over here and just touch this. Speed it up. Go a little bit more. Lock it down. What I was doing a minute ago is I was advancing it faster than I was cutting, so I almost made like threads on it. This is actually the deal you use for threading, and when you're cutting a thread you always come back to the same spot. This just goes 1 through 8. That just gives you the start position. Now if you're sitting here playing around, you got to be careful. This thing in automatic feed, go through, is going to run into the chuck here a minute ago. So if you just walk away and get on the phone, you're going to end up running this thing right into the chuck, and it's going to, who knows what's going to happen. Not pretty. Now by putting this tool in an angle here, you got it cutting a little bit better, but see, it's going to go ahead and hit this plastic gizmo here. Normally I haven't used this. I just put this on because I felt bad in the last video not showing it. It's what you're supposed to use, but it really needs a little notch cut out of here, so I can go ahead and get a little bit closer in here. Now to the end here, I'm going to go through and shut this off. You got to be careful you don't run into something like that and break the bit off. And we'll look at this as the 10. I'll back this off a little bit. Come back all the way over to here. I'm going to go back in the 10. I'm going to take an extra, let's take about 4/1000 of an inch off. I'm going to watch here to where it locks in place. Now this is going to be much more smoother because I'm going through some of the hills and valleys and just whacking it off. You can kind of listen. It has a nice, the turns will come off in a certain way, plus the sound will be pretty good if it's cutting well. If you're taking heavy cuts, you need to put some, probably some lubricant on there. I'm just taking real light cuts. cut, so it probably doesn't make any difference here. Keeps the temperature down on the tool and on the workpiece. So because I just hossed through there and took a big heavy cut, it wasn't pretty. So if you take heavy cuts by hand, sometimes you need to come by and just do some cuts with the feed going through by itself to go through and just clean it up. If you're trying to get down to a certain diameter, you kind of want to do some measuring on the way and make sure you don't just overshoot. Turn that off, back this off, come back. Go a few more thousandths. Now when you're taking a cut here, there's force on this, pulling this, so it's going to want to try to pull this away, and the machine's not infinitely rigid like any machine. So what happens if you take a big cut, you get a lot of force on here, and if you got a different diameter, it's going to vary this diameter. You got run out here on the spindle, you got a little bit of run out over here. This should take a lot of the bumps out. Probably need to get in here and get a lot of these chips out of here because I've been playing around with this a bunch. Again, when you come in here, if you jam that into the corner like that, you're going to go through and ruin the bit. So you got to be ready here to lift this up, to halt it. And I'm going to go here and see where I am. I'm at about 16. I'm going to back this off. You got to go more than you think because you got to take the slack out of this thing. You come back to here.